name is Cadet Cook.
Cadet Bagani.
And today we'll be doing part 2 platoon movement. This time we're doing the successive and alternate bounds and also the column and stagger column. And for our references, we'll be using the Ranger Handbook.
Yes, we'll be using the Ranger Handbook TC3-21.76. We will also be using the Soldier's Manual of Common Tasks, Warrior Skills Level 1, June 2009 edition, exactly STP 21-1 SMCT. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start us off on the successive and alternate balance, right? So basically, this is a movement that you use when the enemy is near you, or the assaulting elements will use when you need to assault through an objective. You technically can do this in a platoon-sized element. It's just going to be a little bit too much, so and oftentimes you wouldn't really be doing it. The highest you'd be doing this is a squad, but typically teams as well, right? So again, when you need to assault through the element, this doesn't mean that, for example, Ford Squad that has the 240s can't do this. They definitely can. It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, you probably don't want to be running and jumping with that gun. It's not right. It's just not what you would do. It's not tactical, right? So oftentimes now this will be your AS1 and AS2 elements, right? So for example, I'm going to start off and just draw. We're going to cover ambushes and attacks and everything else in our next couple videos, but right now I'm just going to demonstrate a simple L-style attack where this is the objective that we need to assault through. So if this is the objective, then you're going to have AS1 and AS2 set up, and then you're going to have support by fire right here. And again, support by fire will always be your biggest, your baddest weapon. It's going to be that 7.62, that M240 Bravo, right? So this will be all of your weapons. And then your security will just be somewhere back here guarding your rocks or whatever, right? Back at the RP. So in this specific instance, right, you wouldn't want your support by fire to assault through the objective. You typically never want your support by fire to assault through the objective because their whole job is to just shoot. Their just whole job is to just shoot that 240, shoot that 240, shoot that 240, right? Shoot anything and everything that they can, that's right here. And then eventually shift fire or stop firing once AS1 and AS2. Your AS1 and AS2, their jobs is to assault through the objective, and they're going to reach an LOA, which is a limited advancement, which would be right here. Which means limited advancements basically don't go past that point. You've already assaulted through the objective. Alright, so basically that's just how an attack's going to be. Again, we're going to go into detail and cover attack and ambush and everything like that in a later video, but I'm just trying to get y'all to understand why we're doing this. So this is how successive and alternate balance is how AS1, AS2, and pretty much any assault element is going to move through the objective, right? So let's go ahead and get started. So as we already know, you can do this in full squads, right? So this is a full squad, right? So 9 soldiers, and this is also a full squad, so 9 soldiers. But like I mentioned before, you can do this with teams as well, which means you can just go 4 and then 4. So it just depends. For the sake of this specific example, I'm going to use teams, but again, you can just sub out teams for squads and just add those extra 5 soldiers into them, right? So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4. This will just be 1 squad. So correction, I made a mistake. This will be 1 squad. You're gonna have your team leader, or sorry, I apologize, your squad leader. And then you're gonna have your other team leader, or your other teams. So again, like we mentioned before, if you watched our first video and our second video, you're gonna have 2 team leaders, because this is going to be your alpha team, and this is going to be your
Bravo team. Why is the squad leader in the middle?
So the squad leader will be in the middle in order to establish effective communication with both team leaders, right? So whatever the squad leader sees, he can disseminate to that team leader or to that team leader, who can then disseminate it all the way down. Thank you, kind of good. So you're gonna have your Saul. You're gonna have your Grenadier. Sorry, you're gonna have Grenadier all the way out here, and then you're gonna have your Rifleman right here. And the same thing right here. Team leader, saw, rifleman, grenadier. So let's just assume that this is the whole thing is your AS 1 element, right? And assume that they're the only ones that are going to be bounding in this time, right? But we're going to go ahead and go team by team, okay? So successive, right? Successive bounding is basically going to be, let's assume that there is an enemy soldier right here, right? Enemy soldier slash whatever, enemy objective, whatever, right? Or let's just assume this whole thing's the objective, and that's their LOA, right? Their limited advance. How are they going to get there? That is basically what successive and alternate bounds are. So successive would be lines set up, right? This lines can be marked by terrain. If you have a whole lot of recon, then they can be marked by certain things like a boot or a PT belt, whatever. But typically, it's just whenever you feel as a team leader that you need to get down, right? So that squad leader is going to actually, for successive bounding, right? That squad leader is going to stay, and alternate bounding as well. That squad leader is going to stay with Bravo team, right? So let's just assume that there's a tree here and some bushes here, and this is all open terrain, right? Just all open terrain. There's a couple trees, whatever, right? So based on the team leader's call, that is when they're going to stop. So every single person here is online right now. By online, they're literally in a line. Okay, this is just what online means. Right now, they're all they're all prone, right? So they're all down, and they have their guns on the enemy, right? They need to end up moving up, right? So your whole alpha team is gonna, so on your squad leader's command, alpha team, move up. Your team leader's gonna lead the charge, and they're gonna move all the way till the team leader thinks that he should stop. So let's say that there is maybe, let's just say a smaller tree right here, whatever, right? So the team leader's gonna move up with the saw gunner, the rifleman, and the grenadier. So all of them are gonna move up. Their squad leader and the rest of the Bravo team's gonna stay behind. They're gonna move up, and they're gonna stop right here. And they're gonna go get back into the prone. So they're gonna get up from their prone, run, and then stop in their prone.
Now, once they stop and get in their prone, they are in cover and concealment because
Correct.
the enemy could possibly be shooting back at the squad.
Right. Can I cut? What's the difference between cover and concealment?
So cover is something around will stop. Concealment is just camouflage, where the enemy is not able to see you.
Okay.
But it's not cover because it's not going to stop a bullet from hitting you.
Exactly. So, for example, ghillie suits, hiding behind something, right? For example, if I'm trying to hide from Cadet Cook right here and I hide behind the chair, that can be concealment, right?
But it wouldn't be covered though.
But it wouldn't be covered because I think anything and everything can probably go through this chair right here. So that's basically the difference between cover and concealment. So at the team leader's discretion, they're gonna go and stop, and they're gonna get back to the ground. After the squad leader sees that, the squad leader's gonna be like, Bravo team, move up. And they are also gonna move up. And then they're gonna get online.
Now, is this successive or alternate bound?
This would be successive, right? So the main difference between successive and alternate bounds would be that you're gonna meet online with your squad, with all the elements in your squad every single time. So, and then the squad leader just moves up as well, and they're back online. So then it's gonna be Bravo team's turn because Alpha team went first, right? So the squad leader's now gonna stay behind with Alpha team, right? Then they're gonna move up, and let's say that that team leader stops right here, right, and cover and concealment, whatever, or just stops because they can't keep going, whatever, right? Then they're gonna stop right here. They're gonna signal back like, hey, once they go into the prone, squad leader now knows that you move by Alpha. Then when squad leaders come in, Alpha team's gonna move up. And then eventually, it's gonna be like this. So one team's gonna move up, and the other team's gonna move up. Then the other team's gonna move up, then the other team's gonna move up. Another, then other. And it's just like a ladder basically. So think of like, hey, how would you climb a ladder? You wouldn't go one step at a time, right? You go one up, then another, then another, then another. So I'll just demonstrate for that for y'all. One, two, three, four. So left, right, left, right.
Yeah, and obviously once that squad is close enough to the element or the objective, they're obviously just going to assault through. Because once the element is neutralized, that's when the whole squad's going to assault through instead of keep bounding.
Correct. Could I cook? How would we exactly be moving in this or conducting our movement while we're actually moving up?
So once if we're bounding in this movement, we'll most likely do a 3 to 5 second rush because we're possibly getting fired at. So it's I'm up, they see me, I'm down type of say.
And the doctrine for that is IMTs. So individual movement techniques. I'm up, they see me, I'm down.
There's other movement techniques, but this is the one you'll be using for this bound.
For alternate successive bounding. So we went ahead and just covered successive bounding, so now we're going to end up covering alternate bounding. So pretty much the same thing, except you're not going to be getting online with your squad. Again, the main difference between successive bounding and alternate bounding is that unlike a ladder, right, where you're going to just go up instead of getting back on, instead of getting online, you're going to go up. That's basically how it's going to be. So again, same scenario right now. We have one squad, we have Alpha and Bravo, right? So let's put another tree right here. Alpha team, move up. So everybody's in the prone, right? Squad leader tells the Alpha team leader, go ahead and move up, right? So Alpha team, move up, and they get all the way over here. Okay? So unlike successive, where Bravo team would also move up and meet them online here, Bravo team is going to go up and meet them here, and the squad leader will go with them.
So past Alpha team.
Right. So again, in successive bounding, they would meet them right here. But this isn't successive bounding, this is alternate. Alternate will be used when you don't have as much time to get back online with them, right? So obviously we know that these are supposed to be 3 to 5 second rushes, but let's assume that there's a machine gun nest up there, right? You might not want to be doing successive bounding because that just takes a little bit longer. And again, every second that you take, every second longer that you take gives the enemy an opportunity to shoot you and shoot your guys or your girls, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you get all of your men and women home alive, right? So this is what you would use. You want to meet them online. You'd go. How many meters past them? About 5 to 10. It completely depends on the squad leader or whoever's senior
the
squad leader.
also.
Correct. Squad leader and the team leader's judgment, right? So they're gonna be right here. And then squad leader's gonna go ahead and communicate to the team leader to move up. And unlike successive, again, where they would meet right here, they won't. This is alternate, so they'll go ahead and go up and they'll meet. And they'll go past them. So they won't meet them right here online, they'll go past them. So kind of like, again, giving a ladder example. Successive would just be, so assume that you have a ladder, right? Successive would be, you're gonna move your left leg up, and then your right leg's gonna stay right on that point, right? And then you're gonna move your right leg up, and your left is gonna stay on that point. That would be successive. Alternate would just be one leg, one leg, one leg, one leg, one leg. So it's faster. The whole purpose of this movement is to go faster and approach that objective faster. That's all it is. So that is successive and alternate boundings, or bounds. Now I'm going to go ahead and give it over to Cadet Cook, who's going to cover column and stagger columns.
So column. The column formation we're really not going to use as much, but I will explain what the column formation would look like. So it's basically side by side with key leaders in the middle. So we have the AS1 squad, here, and we have the squad leader in the middle of them. And then right behind this first ask for squad leader will be the PL. Once the PL is right there, that's one squad leader. And then we have ask 2 squad leader here. And then PSG. So all these are Joes. So everybody in the squads besides the squad leaders are on the side. But all the key leaders will be in the middle. And one of the difference between staggered column and regular column is they're side by side. So there's no stagger. And then there's 2. And then we'll put weasel. And then security. So this will represent a column, a platoon column. Now the difference, obviously, is they're staggered. Now this is the one you use most of the time, especially when you go on a platoon ruck. That way, obviously it's going to be way longer. And then same thing, the key leaders are going to be in the middle. So squad leader and then PL will be in the middle, and this would be the stagger column where they're in the gap of each other.
What I like to reference it as, if you ever play like snakes and ladders, right, or just kind of like a zigzag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So stagger would just be a zigzag.
That's a good way to look at it.
Right, and then this would just be a whole ladder with just team leaders and the important people, quote unquote. Not saying everybody is important, but the important people in the middle.
Yeah, so there's really not much to the column. Our stagger column is real simple. The only key thing you gotta remember is the key leaders are in the middle, and then the difference between the stagger and the regular column. And that's about it.
Yeah. And I think that covers all of our platoon movements, right? So we went ahead and completed column, file, line, and we covered successive and alternate balance, and we ended up covering column and stagger column as well. All right, yeah, so if y'all have any questions or anything like that, go ahead and leave them in the comments and we'll answer them. And tune in next time where we're actually going to start going over the missions. So yeah, thank you for watching CMB Tactical. Again, all of our references can be found in the description. And yeah.